If you've played Trials or even quickplay for that matter in the past few weeks, you'll have noticed that bows are seeing a massive uptick in their usage. Le Monarch usually being the prime offender, but there's one in my eyes which is a much bigger problem: Wishender. So today I'm bringing you guys the most toxic build I've ever created on this channel. This build literally counters nearly every single playstyle. We have infinite Wallhacks, which means you always have the upper hand on your opponents, the fastest TTK weapon combination whereby you can kill people in less than half a second up to like 50 meters across the map. And with this Strand build, you literally defeat the main counter to this build where a team rushes you thanks to the fact that we have an army of Threadlings available to us at our disposal, which not only works as an anti-rushing deterrent but also applies so much pressure to enemies hiding behind cover. Dim link for the build will be in my Discord, link for which will be in the comments or description below. So at the heart of the build is the combination of the exotic bow Wishender with the exotic hunter gauntlets Oathkeepers. Now why this combination is so ridiculously overpowered is that Wishender provides you true sight, which allows you to see enemies up to, wait for it, 64 meters away when you have your bow fully drawn, through any object or any amount of cover. Oathkeepers, along with providing you with 40 airborne effectiveness and improving draw time, allows you to keep your bow fully drawn indefinitely, which means with Wishender you can have infinite Wallhacks. Now Wishender hits for 159 on a precision hit. It's split into two damage types similar to explosive payload, whereby part of it hits for 129 and the other part hits for 30. Getting this first hit is super easy as you have Wallhacks, so how do we finish enemies off really quickly? The answer to that is bow hot swapping. Bow hot swapping is where you deal a chunk of damage with your bow and then you use your other weapon to finish off the opponents. The single best weapon archetype for this in my eyes is a 120 RPM hand cannon, because they hit for 50 on a body shot, meaning after a Wishender precision shot, you can follow up with a 120 hand cannon body shot, so you don't even need to be accurate with that second shot to kill someone. It's a disgustingly cheap combination, and apart from a god tier sniper who hits every single shot, there's literally no counter to this playstyle in my eyes. The most ideal candidate to pair with Wishender is going to be Ignas Hammer, and rather than the usual god roll suggested for Igneous, you want to pair it with a roll with very high handling. So those old Igneous god rolls with quick draw and celerity are all going to be very potent here. Somehow I luckily had a quick draw celerity roll in my vault, so there we go. But yeah, even if you don't have those old rolls, don't worry, Igneous has insane stats, so just stick on adept handling or quick access sling to one of those new Igneous hammer drops and you're good to go. The other method how we hot swap kill our enemies is going to be through our melee on this subclass, Threaded Spike, which hits for a whopping 80. So again, a Wishender headshot followed by a threaded spike arrow is going to kill everyone. This combination works especially well against enemies closer to you. Now, the amazing thing about this build is that we use Threadlings to act both offensively and defensively. To anyone rushing us, thanks to our Strand aspect, Threaded Spectre, we deploy a decoy when we dodge, which when an enemy is nearby explodes and deals 100 damage, and deploys two Threadlings, which thanks to our Fragments, which I'll discuss a little bit later, deal 45 damage each. This is such a powerful tool against rushing players, which is a major counter to the bow hot swap playstyle. To add to this mayhem, we also have Threadling grenades, which spawn 3 Threadlings each, dealing 45 damage each. So against a rusher, if you use a Threadling grenade and your Threaded Spectre, you're going to cause a lot of damage, and at the very least you're going to cause a lot of chaos and distraction. Thanks to our other Strand aspect, we actually get 2 Threadling grenades with this build, so against enemies hiding behind cover, you're constantly going to have a grenade to flush them out. Honestly, once Armkaras and Antaeus gets the nerf hammer, you're going to see so many more Threadling builds in the Crucible. It's so annoying to deal with and probably going to be the next meta, but yeah, with this bow build, it's actually wild. So let's go over my Strand build in full. I run Marksman's Dodge as it has a shorter cooldown than Gambler's Dodge, meaning we have Threaded Spectre up quicker. Strafe Jump, Threaded Spike, Threadling Grenade. We've already talked about Threaded Spectre as our main aspect. The other aspect you want to run is Widow's Silk, which means you get to have 2 Threadling grenades. In terms of fragments, the most important fragment is Thread of Evolution, which means your Threadlings travel further and deal more damage. Thread of Ascent, which gives you 10 mobility and gives you handling and airborne effectiveness when you chuck your grenade, which are both very useful stats for a bow hot swap build. Thread of Generation, which reduces our grenade cooldown, more Threadling grenades are great. And then the final fragment, you have a little bit of choice. I went for stats mainly, so I went for Thread of Finality for the 10 recovery. You could go for Thread of Binding for the 10 resilience, depending on what stat you want. In terms of stat distribution, the number one stat here is going to be 10 mobility, so you have your threaded spectre up as much as possible. 10 recovery next, so you can recover your health behind cover as soon as possible, and discipline closely behind, so you can spam your Threadling grenades, and then make sure you have at least 2 resilience, which for hunters is the bare minimum I recommend in PvP. At 1 resilience or below, you can be 2 headshot 1 bodied by a 140 hand cannon, which is a big blow to you because your opponent then doesn't require 100% accuracy with a staple weapon in the Crucible. Then go for intellect and strength in that order. In terms of mods, we concentrate on maximizing your ADS and swap speed with your Igneous hammer, as well as targeting for your bow. As a result, I recommend running 1 kinetic targeting and 1 solar targeting to benefit both your weapons, 2 solar dexterity mods so you can hot swap to your Igneous as fast as possible, and 1 unflinching solar and 1 unflinching kinetic aim, so both your weapons aren't flinched as much. On your boots, you want 2 innovation mods and 1 absolution, so whenever you pick up an orb, you generate more grenade energy. And then finally, on your class item, run 1 utility kickstart and 1 reaper, so after a dodge, you gain some class ability energy, and on your next kill you generate an orb of power, which gives you grenade energy thanks to those mods I mentioned on your boots. So there you have it, my complete Wishender Threadling build. That is an absolute menace to any form of Crucible, be it quick play, be it competitive or trials. Word of warning, you will be teabagged the hell out of you for using this loadout. Yeah, if you like feeding off those salty tears from your opponent, then this is the build for you. If you enjoyed what I talked about today, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Destiny builds, both PvP and PvE. I'm Mr. Ronnet, and that's it for today. Peace out, guys.